Since end of last year, I started considering buying a MacBook Air. As I often travel for events and work, carrying around my MacBook Pro felt too heavy. To lighten my already packed suitcase, I want a more portable MacBook Air. However, rumors suggested that the MacBook Air M4 would be released in early 2025, so I decided to wait a little bit longer. Now that MacBook Air M4 has finally launched, I was immediately drawn to the brand new sky blue color. This is the first for the MacBook Air lineup, as previous models stuck to more traditional shades. Unlike the iPad Air and iMac, which introduced more creative colors years ago, the MacBook Air has been more conservative. If sky blue hadn't been an option, I would have chosen midnight, although many complain about its tendency to attract fingerprints. It still feels relatively new. Even with the fingerprint magnet risk, I would have given it a try, especially since I've grown tired of my space gray MacBook Pro. But now, sky blue serves both concerns. It's a unique color, and I don't have to worry about fingerprints. Apple's packaging has always been something I appreciate. Eco-friendly and easy to open. There's no tightly sealed plastic wrap or frustrating clasp, and it opens effortlessly. I bought the upgraded mode with 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. Upon unboxing, I noticed the MagSafe charging cable. Strangely, under natural light, I could barely see any blue in it. I would say it's more silver. It seems you need specific lighting and angles to notice the blue tint. This time, Apple included a 35-watt dual USB-C charger. I guess their subtle message is, since you've bought a MacBook Air, why not get another Mac in a different color? Dual ports will boost your productivity. Even if the dual USB-C charger seems useful, 35 watt doesn't seem all that powerful. Seeing the actual MacBook Air M4 in person, I had the same reaction as I did with the charging cable. The sky blue is so light that it's hard to tell whether Apple designed it this way on purpose or if it's just a trick of the lighting. Some YouTubers claim that carrying the sky blue MacBook Air M4 will easily attract attention and even envious glances. But in reality, that might be an overstatement. In most everyday lighting, this blue is so subtle it almost disappears. If you are not viewing it in the right light and angle, it's hard to tell it's a new model. Somehow, I don't think the color is bad at all. On the other hand, I find it very elegant. Under certain lighting, it even looks similar to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, which I think is pretty cool. The MacBook Air M4 only has 60Hz display, but for normal everyday use, it's more than enough. Unless you have special high refresh rate needs, you won't really notice the difference. As for fingerprints, they are still visible, just not as obvious. In terms of performance, video editing runs smoothly, and file imports are surprisingly fast. At times, it even feels quicker than my MacBook Pro M1 Pro. Watching videos on the new MacBook Air is a great experience. The 13-inch display doesn't feel too small, though it might not be as visually impressive as the MacBook Pro M4's nano texture glass. I'm not the kind of person who enjoys working in complete silence. I've grown tired of working from home and prefer change my workspace often. Observing people coming and going in cafes or parks gives me fresh ideas and inspiration for my creative work. Previously, my MacBook Pro was too heavy to carry around, so I often just took my iPad Pro. However, some tasks simply cannot be done efficiently on an iPad. Yet. Most importantly, when working alone at a cafe, you eventually need a restroom break. You can take MacBook Air very easily with you. I never considered getting a MacBook Air before because the previous model felt underpowered, but the new M4 version is actually quite better now. The biggest selling point is its incredible light. I can easily take it out, work for a while, then pack it up quickly. It fits into a small bag effortlessly. Alright, that's it. Time to go home.